Welcome to Franklin Almanac. I'm Polikseni Manxhari. This is our 11th edition of Almanac, a compendium of life in Franklin. As always, we'll bring you important stories. What's happened, what's happening, what matters. To wrap up the summer, we bring you more of what Franklin knows best, and that is community. We'll discuss ongoing traditions, people working together for a common cause, and those who influence others with their passion and work, all for the love of community. St.Rocco was born of noble parentage in about 1340 AD in France. He showed great devotion in God and helped the sick and poor. After the death of his parents, St.Rocco distributed his wealth among the poor and took a vow of poverty. He had the power to heal people of their illnesses by praying for them and making the sign of a cross. And even after his death, he performed many miracles and still continues to do so. A 39-year tradition, St. Mary's Parish celebrated the Feast of St. Rocco in early August. The event featured numerous amusement park rides, delicious food, and of course, festive Italian music. Even with its incredible surroundings, no one could forget what the event was truly about. This year, however, was bittersweet for staff and volunteers, as they recently announced that next year's feast, the 40th anniversary, will be the very last. We met up with organizers and volunteers to discuss what makes this year so special. Let's take a look. So why do you think it's important to celebrate the life and spirit of St. Rocco at this festival today?
Well, St. Rocco was the patron saint of the sick, and the story is that what happened, Nick Verna, his relative, was very, very sick. It could have been Nick, but anyway, it was very sick, and they prayed to and whatnot to St. Rocco. I get teared up. And so they had a statue erected down there with St. Rocco, and we started 39 years ago having this festival in honor of St. Rocco for the patron of the sick. And that's the main reason for this. And it turned into what you see here with the faith, food, and family. And it's been going on.
Well, speaking of which, I know there's an amazing crowd here today. So in your opinion, in these past 39 years, what keeps people coming back for more?
I think one of the main reasons is they know what it's about. They know what we're about here. And all of this food here, we do ourselves, okay? So it's your own neighbor that's doing the cooking, serving, and whatnot. And that's the main thing. You can see they're all up here eating. And that's what it's been. They can come by. That's why they feel when they come here, the only thing will give us a hard time is the weather. Last year it was hot. One year when we had Father O'Leary come, the first year he was here, that's why there's so much mulch down there. We were basically drowned out. So he's known as the rain pastor.
What does the future of the event hold?
Well, sad to say that next year is going to be our 40th year. And we feel that we've kind of run the course, and it's kind of hard. We have a lot of youngsters that come in and help us to put all this stuff up. And to run all these booths and to keep them going the way they have been, it's getting a little difficult. So we figure next year will be our 40th year, and then every year after that, Father Brian will have a special mass in August, in honor of the feast that the people who came and made things for their deceased relatives and friends. So that will continue on after this. But next year, if you want to come and get some good sausages, pizza, subs, anything, it's going to be your last shot.
It's a great place that people come to gather, and people come to they know that if they go there, they're probably going to find somebody they haven't seen for a year. So it's like a nice little gathering place and like a reunion place. As far as people, you see it all the time, whether it's young or old. Say, hey, I see you, I haven't seen you in a long time. You might not even remember their name, but you know them. So, yeah.
And a lot of good food, of course, that's a big thing. And, it just gives people an opportunity, like he said, to come out and good entertainment. The bands are usually really good every evening, and it's a lot of fun watching people out there dancing and listen to the music and stuff.
Well, this is actually the first year I'm working it. I have been coming to it for the last 22 years. So I live in Franklin, and my husband and I raised our children here. We go to St. Mary's, and so we've always participated. We've always brought the kids to the carnival. We've always eaten lunch and dinner at St. Rocco's, and now everybody's gone and I'm home, and so I thought I'm just going to come and help out.
So why do you think it's important to celebrate the life of St. Rocco?
Well, St. Rocco is a patron saint. He's a healer. And it's just important in the Italian part of my Catholic upbringing. So I've always just celebrated St. Rocco in the summer.
Well, we'd love to know, what's your favorite part of the event?
The food, all the food. The subs are good, but clam cakes are great. All the Italian food is the best. The cannolis are wonderful. So I come here for the food.
Make sure to visit the St. Rocco's Festival in August 2018, as this will wrap up a long-time Franklin tradition, one that will be greatly missed. As you've driven around town, a certain black and white sign may have caught your attention. Hashtag 2069 is an awareness project created by Rentham's Trinity Episcopal Church in partnership with the Safe Coalition. Its purpose is to inform citizens of the impact and dangers of opioid abuse and addiction in our state. The number 2069 represents the shocking amount of deaths in Massachusetts in 2016 alone. This phenomenon is only a few weeks old, but has already made a huge impact in our community. The goal of the sign is to not only get people talking, but to also have them ask questions. President of the Safe Coalition, Jim Derrick, said, "There are people who want the help but can't get it. The sign is a call to action." To learn more about what hashtag 2069 is doing to address the opioid crisis, I sat down with Reverend Ron Tibbetts of Trinity Episcopal Church and Jim Derrick. Here's what they had to say. I want to thank you both for being here and joining us to talk about the opioid crisis that's going on in our country. And I know that you both are involved in a movement to end this crisis. So tell us about hashtag 2069 and how that began.
The hashtag 2069 is really, it's the result of a lot of work by a small outreach committee at Trinity Episcopal Church in Rentham for a long time, asking the question, how do we become more relevant in our community? Well, part of becoming relevant means becoming aware.
Right.
And we understood that. We earlier this year lost a member, a child of our parish, to substance abuse disorder and abuse. And although that stirred us, it didn't stir us enough to be motivated into awareness. So around, I would guess, it was June, maybe June, we invited Jim Derrick from the Safe Coalition to come and talk with us. Jim is also a child of our parish, childish at times, but you know, is also a child of the parish.
Yes.
And his insight and understanding is tremendously valuable to us at Trinity. So Jim came and shared what the Safe Coalition was doing, what some of the issues are around the opioid crisis, and spoke well, eloquently about its effect in our communities and our need to understand that. So Jim left the meeting, and I think it had inspired a lot of folks in the conversation. We talked for a while. What do we do? The idea of a yard sign came up. And of course, as we all know, you drive along, there are many delightful yard signs out there, and they're beautifully colored, and they have all kinds of information on them. But if you're going 45 miles an hour, if you're spending your time reading the yard sign,
Right, most people don't.
You know.
You just pass by them and you don't
might
really acknowledge it.
You see painter, or, you know, recently, you don't get all of the information.
Right.
So I thought, you can't put it, what are you going to put for information on a yard sign? How are you going to get people's attention?
Right.
Well, first conversation was that we need a stark contrast. So let's go, if whatever we do, let's go with the colors, black and white.
Got it, yeah.
That's just going to stand right out. Then we talked about, well, how about the number 2069? And we'll put it out in front of Trinity Church, and we'll see if people start talking about it. So The outreach committee really agreed on what we were going to do. So then we had to go to our leadership committee called the vestry. We brought the idea to the vestry because you want parish-wide support of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Brought that there, and someone much younger than I suggested, we'll throw the hashtag in front and set up a Twitter site, and people can seek the answer on Twitter, but you've given them the question and a way to find the answer. You've made a suggestion and a journey that they can take.
Well, going back to the sign, I know that obviously you have a hashtag in the beginning, and then 2069, which represents the number of people we've lost to this crisis in Massachusetts alone
In 2016. Right.
So what would you say is the goal and the purpose of this design? What did you want to come out of this?
Shock value, curiosity.
So you wanted people to ask?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
I think that's the power of this in its simplicity, is that people do come up and ask all the time if they happen to know that I'm involved with the coalition.
Sure.
This is not branded as it's Trinity's outreach effort, and as a stakeholder of ours, the faith community, we were happy to support this, the Safe Coalition. So, but we do get a lot of questions. What is that number? And that's a wonderful time to engage people in conversation. People that haven't been directly impacted, maybe. Or maybe they have.
Sure.
But it's a wonderful way to engage and start the conversation. So you'll see these signs in front of police stations, fire stations, private residences, all around the community.
In your opinion, how do you think that this addresses this crisis?
Well, I think the major impact of this sign is that substance use disorder is a disease of isolation. And when people find themselves impacted, either by a family member or they themselves have this illness, the default is to go into isolation, to feel separate from the community, to feel shame. And as a result, people don't reach out for help. They suffer in silence. The beauty of this campaign, and one of the goals, is to allow people the voice to say, I need help. I recognize that the rest of the community is interested. I see all these signs up. Maybe I'm not as bad as I think I am. Maybe it's okay for me to speak up and ask for help.
It's an open door to conversation.
Now, I know that you have a rally coming up in October.
Yes,
so tell
we
us
do.
a little bit about that. I know it's called No Shame, Erasing the Stigma. So tell us more about what people can expect.
What people can expect, well, we don't know yet. Frankly, we've never put a rally together. Our initial hope was that we would gather perhaps 50 people from Rentham on the Common on a Saturday to speak out as people, as residents of our town, to identify themselves as people concerned about this issue. Thanks to social media, thanks to the Safe Coalition, thanks to all of our stakeholders and folks that are investing in this campaign, it looks like it's going to be bigger than anything we could ever have anticipated. But ultimately the purpose in the day is to first say that no matter who you are, how this epidemic has impacted you as a human being, and we know it has to an awful lot of people, is that you have to always remember that you are loved. You are not a separate, isolated community of people suffering in silence, and that you are loved, whether we know the experience or not in our personal lives, that we care for you. The second part of it is to respond to, I think, a very much under-discussed issue.
Absolutely.
Is the impact on first responders. There are first responders who, day after day, are going out and they're making saves, and they're not making saves. People are dying on a daily basis. And it is fatiguing, spiritually, emotionally, physically, on our first responders. How do we connect with them to offer a network of support where there's this isolation in the police and fire community as well, because others don't understand what they do every day. Tell us what you do. Tell us how it impacts you. But more importantly, tell me how, when you get in the car at the end of your shift and you go home, how you leave behind the experiences of that day as you walk into a household with children who are vulnerable to this disease in so many ways. How do you see your children? How do you respond to your children? I'm sure the day influences how they parent.
Right.
So we're saying to them, we don't know how to help you, but tell us how to be there for you. and we honor you and we respect you.
It's amazing to me. Ron was sharing with me that communities have reached out with him as far away as Ware, Massachusetts, and all the way down to Wellfleet.
Wow.
And all the way down the South Shore. So this people driving through the community have seen these signs,
Yes.
have called Ron, and I might mention the Facebook page is 2069_signs,
Okay.
and you need to simply ask to join the group, and you'll be admitted right in. So it really is a multi-dimensional or multi-town collaboration right now, which has the potential to really take off.
If people want one of these signs, how can they get it?
They can contact me. The email address is all lowercase. It's Ron Tibbetts, Tibbetts, at yahoo.com. And I'll do my absolute best to get you a sign. We just received 60 signs 13 days ago. They're gone.
Wow.
They will be gone by the end of the day. We reached, like I say, 130 some odd signs planted by the end of today. We have another order in, and it'll be here Monday or Tuesday, and we will do the best to get you a sign as quickly as possible.
Thank you both for taking the time to discuss this sensitive but very, very important topic in the community and nationally too. And we look forward to seeing the progress, and I hope that this movement can really take off because, you know, as you can agree, I'm sure this is something that really needs to be talked about and addressed.
Great, and we'll see you on the 28th.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
Thank you very much.
If you're interested in getting a sign of your own, you can email Ron Tibbetts at yahoo.com or follow on their Facebook page, #2069_signs. Their rally, called No Shame Erasing the Stigma, is on October 28th at the Wrentham Town Common. We hope you will come out to support this deserving cause. For Tom Angelo, sports was a lifelong passion. The 55-year-old New Jersey native was named the Franklin Athletic Director just 1 year ago. During his first year in Franklin, he helped sports teams win 11 Hockomock League crowns. He created a girls' gymnastics team and increased participation in sports, as well as throughout the community. We sat down with Tom to reflect on this past year, his future focus, and his next set of goals. So Tom, I just want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and reflect on your year as the athletic director in Franklin. Now, I know that you are just wrapping up your first year. So a lot of great things have happened. So if you could describe your year in one word, what would you choose?
One word, I would have to say commendable.
Okay.
I think worthy of praise. That's a good word. I think it's a good adjective. We had a successful year. We had an enjoyable year. It was exciting. Got a lot of things accomplished.
Right.
So I'd say commendable.
Now, I know that there's been a lot of victories within sports teams, and a lot of titles have been won for basketball, swimming, indoor-outdoor track, etc., you name it.
Right.
So what do you attribute that success to?
You know, you have to start with the coaching. We have incredible coaches here, very dedicated, very professional. They know what they're doing. They bring out the best in their athletes. And, you know, also our student athletes are, you know, just top-notch. Here at Franklin, it's a very large school.
Right.
We have, you know, very large teams, and it's a blessing and it's also a curse in that not everyone gets to participate because of numbers and so on. But we do have a large selection of incredible student athletes, and you know, I always say the cream rises to the top. And,
Yeah.
you know, we have you know, we're very fortunate here to have such competitive teams.
So I did read in another article that you would like to focus your energy on chemical health.
Absolutely.
Why is that an important topic for you to discuss?
You know, when I talk to athletes, when I talk to student athletes, you know, I always, when we approach this topic, I always say, you tell me how doing drugs, drinking, or smoking makes you a better athlete. It just doesn't. There's no place for that. If you're working so hard to improve yourself, to be in the best physical condition you can be, why would you then take steps back by putting these harmful elements into your body? It just doesn't make sense.
And going off of that topic, I just want to get your opinion on what you think of steroids in sports and what kind of message that sends to your students.
Well, you know, I personally feel using steroids, professional athletes, or even any type of enhancement, it's basically cheating. You're cheating yourself. You're not playing by the rules. You need to start with that level playing field. And I think athletes that do make the bad decisions to use any type of steroid or performance-enhancing drugs, they're basically cheating, and they're cheating themselves.
Why do you think that sports are so valuable for kids nowadays?
I tell you, I began 33 years ago as an educator. I started out as a teacher. I've always been involved in athletics. I've always coached. My sons were athletes. I was an athlete. My wife was an athlete.
Wow.
And, there are just so many life lessons and core values that you can attribute to athletic involvement. Everything from passion to respect to discipline, sacrifice, commitment, confidence, leadership. All of these life lessons and qualities, can be attributed to playing athletics and participating in athletics. We always talk about leadership. We want our young, our student athletes to be leaders, but this is a chance for them to actually put that into play and actually practice and learn how to be leaders and learn how to make the right decisions and do the right thing. So that's why, for me, athletics is I'm so passionate about it and what it brings.
Well, I'm sure that there's been a lot of people in your journey who have helped you be a successful person, including athletic director. Who are those people that you'd like to really thank and shout out for being in this role?
I tell you, at Franklin, we are so fortunate here in this town. From the school administration to the DPW to our town rec department, to the custodial staff, the tech staff, the parent volunteers, the boosters, everyone, just contributes to the success of this town. And, I just want to give a shout out to all those people who are involved with the success of Franklin High School athletics. We could not do it alone, and, the coaches can't do it alone, the student athletes can't do it alone. We need the help and support, and we get that in this community.
Well, I have to commend you for everything that you've been able to accomplish in just 1 year. But I have to know, what's next on your list of accomplishments? What's the next goal for you?
Well, the next goal for us at the school would be getting our unified basketball program up and running, and that starts on September 13th. Last spring, we began a unified track program that was very successful. We had 22 student athletes involved. We won the sectional championship, and of course it's not just about winning, it's about what it was all about. And having student athletes who don't ordinarily compete, and they competed very well. It was the community involvement surrounding that. We had our boys and girls track team volunteer for the sectional meet. We had 12 schools here, and they provided the assistance, officiating, and so on. It was such a great community event. And now that we have that up and running, we're moving on to the next phase, which is the unified basketball program. Their first practice is September 13th. We have a great coach, Coach John Layton, who is also our girls varsity basketball coach. He'll be in control of the program moving forward. We're just so excited to get that up and running. That's one goal. Another one, I would like to do more with the captains here, with the athletic captains. I have a fall athletic captains meeting on September 18th. It'll be more of a workshop in leadership, but that's a passion of mine too. I'd like to do more with that. And I would like our teams to continue with their community service involvement. Every team already does do something with regard to community service, but I would like to do more. We have such a beautiful facility here. I really want to open it up more to the youth programs and have each team continue with what they're doing, and just make it a higher priority to involve youth in athletics here. So that's kind of what I have in mind, and just to continue to do what we're doing, holding our coaches and our athletes to higher standards, doing the best that we can for this community and for the school.
That's so great to hear. And again, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and reflect on the past year. And we look forward to seeing what else you are able to accomplish in the next few years. So thank you again, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. A huge thank you to Tom for bringing his love and passion for sports to Franklin. We look forward to seeing our athletes continue to dominate on and off the field. With the beginning of a new school year and season, it's time to take a moment and reflect. We look back on the ongoing themes of our Franklin Almanac episodes, like change, something the town has truly embraced. This summer, we gained a new superintendent to lead our public schools, but tragically lost Michael Doherty, one of our own who will be missed among the community. The Franklin Police Department played an active role by engaging our youth in activities like Operation Chill and the DARE program, which acknowledge safety. These groups discussed important issues like drug and alcohol abuse, as well as the little things like wearing a helmet or a seatbelt. And finally, what would a town be without its traditions? Franklin celebrated the Strawberry Stroll and the Franklin Cultural Festival, both encouraging people to get involved around town, all while enjoying the floral decorations from Beautification Day. While this summer was full of highlights, there is always room for more. This wraps up our 11th edition of Franklin Almanac. As we continue to bring you more stories, feel free to email us at almanac@franklin.tv and let us know what you'd like to see. We'd love to hear your story ideas for our next episode. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. For Franklin Almanac, I'm Polikseni Manxhari.